Hi, Laura with True to Soul Life Coaching with step 3 for the Release, Revive, Renew 5-step process for overcoming challenging relationships and breakups. So we have discovered that it is good to investigate your story and that you have to assess your energy and how you're showing up in the world. So step 3 is responsibility. Taking a look at responsibility. So now that you've looked at the story and you have really looked closely at how you're showing up, this is a place where you have to look and say, okay, what part can I take responsibility for in this relationship? A lot of times we put ourselves in such a victim place that it's very hard for us to see our responsibility in the matter. And most of the time, even if we really were done wrong and completely blindsided by what happened, we have some sort of responsibility in the matter. And hopefully, step 2, assessing your energy, gave you some insight as to where you can take responsibility. For instance, if you are showing up in a victim state, where you are looking for reasons to be upset because you're not being treated properly, or which I have to say that a lot of times we can be in a place where we're not being treated respectfully and how we should be. This is not to say that that if you truly are a victim of any type of violence that you need to take responsibility for that, because that is absolutely not true, and that is not what I'm trying to get at here. What I'm trying to get at is that if we can take responsibility for something in the relationship, something that is keeping us stuck, having this remote emotional tie to this person, if we can find something to be responsible for, it empowers us. And this is a big thing too, because I have seen people have a lot of difficulty with responsibility, especially if they feel that they were wronged, because they equate responsibility with blame. So I had a friend once who said, no, I'm not going to take responsibility for that. Why should I? How can you blame me like that? And it's not blame. Responsibility is not blame. It's very different from that. What it does is it says that you had some sort of a choice, even if that choice is just that you happen to be in the relationship in the first place. You can take responsibility for that, right? You chose to be in that relationship. You chose to get married. You chose to spend 2 years of your life, 3 years of your life, 25, 30 years of your life with this person, even if it's just that. But it's important that we at least look at that, because it really does empower us. One of the things that I did is I went back and I looked at everything that I told myself in the relationship. I spent about, give or take 6 or 7 years in my last relationship. And what I did is I looked at all of the red flags, all of the things that I chose to ignore, all the things that I chose to compromise on. And recognized, wow, I could have made a different choice there. Doesn't make some of the things right that happened, but what it does put it back on me to some extent and say, I could have made a different choice. I could have put my foot down here. I could have spoken and used my voice here. I could have stood in my power here. Do you see the difference? My other option would have been to stay in the victim place. I'm so mistreated. He was so awful. He did this wrong. He did that wrong. And that doesn't do me any good. It doesn't do me any good to be in that place. It doesn't do me any good for moving forward with my life, for building the life of love and passion that I want to build. So this one in particular can be really tricky. And this is why it's important to work with a coach. Be great if it was me, but if not, find yourself somebody that you can work with to work through this, because it can be really tough. And there can be a lot of blind spots here too. So, step 3, assess your responsibility. And if you need some help, please, I encourage you to go for that. So we'll see you tomorrow for step 4.